Avi Loeb, the Harvard astrophysicist who transformed the interstellar visitor Oumuamua into a global enigma, has unveiled startling new calculations about the third known object from beyond our solar system, now dubbed C2225X1 Atlas, referred to as 3E Atlas. According to Loeb's latest findings, this colossal wanderer may not be a solid mass at all. It might be hollow. This revelation upends everything we thought we knew about Atlas and forces us to rethink the nature of interstellar objects. What could this mean for humanity's place in the cosmos? Bear with me. This idea sounds wild, but the data demands attention. At first glance, a hollow interstellar object seems preposterous. Objects drifting through the vastness of space should epitomize solidity. Frozen peaks of ice and rock, sculpted by the gravity of distant stars. Yet Loeb's mathematics refuses to be dismissed. Atlas, currently gliding between the orbits of Mars and Earth, carries an estimated mass of 33 billion tons, equivalent to stacking 5,200 Great Pyramids of Giza, based on NASA's 2023 estimates of asteroid masses. Its diameter spans between 5 and 46 kilometers, a size comparable to a small moon. But when it skimmed past Mars on October 3, 2025, at a distance of 29 million kilometers, its gravitational pull was barely detectable. To a physicist, this is as baffling as tossing a boulder next to a pebble and finding they exert the same force. Something doesn't add up. Either Atlas is composed of a material lighter than anything known to science, less dense than aerogel, which NASA reports as 99.8% air, or it's not as substantial as it appears. The equations point to a provocative possibility. It's hollow. Loeb's reasoning is clear-cut. While astronomers peer outward, tracking interstellar visitors, others notice mysteries closer to home. Dr. Chenna Soni, a rocket scientist with advanced degrees in physics and aerospace engineering, and a decade of experience with NASA's launch systems, recently spoke out. She claims that during multiple launches, including those of SpaceX's Falcon Heavy and NASA's SLS rockets, engineers have observed unidentified craft near launch windows. These aren't fleeting glimpses by amateurs, but precise observations by propulsion experts and telemetry teams, professionals whose careers hinge on accuracy. Sony reports these objects appear during critical moments, as if synchronized with ignition sequences, executing maneuvers no human-made craft can replicate. They pivot without inertia, accelerate without exhaust, and hover against atmospheric drag. On at least 3 occasions, she notes, launches coincided with their appearance, as if humanity's push beyond Earth draws their attention. Missions avoids the term aliens, preferring star beings, intelligences that may operate where consciousness interfaces with physical reality. This idea sounds mystical until you dig into declassified records. In 1983, the CIA's Gateway Process Report, authored by Lieutenant Colonel Wayne McDonnell, explored whether consciousness could transcend physical limits, drawing on the Monroe Institute's research into binaural audio frequencies. The report suggested that under specific conditions, human awareness could access information beyond space to outward, a dialogue across a cosmic threshold. Dismissing this as coincidence is tempting, even comforting. But history shows that paradigm shifts begin with uncomfortable data. Copernicus's heliocentric model, Bohr's quantum atom, Einstein's relativity, all defied common sense. Loeb's calculations don't prove Atlas is an alien artifact, but they suggest our categories of natural and artificial may be too rigid. A hollow object could be a phenomenon we lack the language to describe, or a machine disguised as nature, perfected over eons, clinging new. Meanwhile, Sony's reports remind us the unknown isn't confined to distant stars. It hovers at our launch pads, perhaps observing a species taking its first steps into the cosmos. Declassified records offer another angle. The US government's Stargate project, 1978 to 1995, studied remote viewing, the alleged ability to perceive distant locations via consciousness alone. Funded for 2 decades by the Defense Intelligence Agency, the program yielded mixed but intriguing results, with some sessions achieving statistically significant accuracy. Stanford Research Institute, 1995. This suggests perception may extend beyond physical boundaries, echoing the Gateway Process's findings. When you weave these threads together, Atlas's hollowness, craft at launch sites, government experiments with consciousness, a pattern emerges. not a conspiracy, but a continuum. These may be facets of a single phenomenon, manifesting differently across scales. As a physicist, I lean toward equations over anecdotes. Yet the equations themselves hint that consciousness and matter are older, woven into the cosmos's fabric, transcending biology. Our next frontier may not be Mars or Alpha Centauri, but the boundary between mind and matter. If Loeb is right, Atlas isn't just a comet. It's a message in geometry, showing that space can be crossed through understanding, not force. If Sony is correct, the craft at our launches aren't intrusions, but reminders that evolution is cognitive as well as biological. A species mastering consciousness might attract others who've already done so. Perhaps the universe seems silent because advanced civilizations don't use radio waves. They communicate through resonance, the silent synchronization of minds across the void. Stiffness experiment showed that observation alters reality. What happens when reality observes us? Atlas continues its silent journey, unmoved by our theories. It will pass between Earth and the sun, flare or fade, then vanish into the dark. But it's already achieved something remarkable. It's forced us to consider that the universe is a network of observers watching across light years. The craft at our launches may not be invaders, but witnesses, curious about a young species learning to rise. In physics, measurement is a dialogue between observer and system. By watching the skies, we've joined that conversation. Atlas, the craft, the experiments in consciousness, they're all part of the same question. What happens when awareness recognizes itself across cosmic scales? The answer lies not in dogma, but in the next measurement, the next signal, the next courageous glance at